Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monarchs of Wrestling. Yeah, that's right, Monarchs of Wrestling, where we are ruling the ring with authority. As you can see here, I am not joined by my co-host because some things came up. He had to take care of some business. He hit me up earlier today and said, "Hey, I ain't gonna make it today." And I was like, "All right, I got it." So the Playmakers one is solo. Kuma King, he'll be back next week. But I'm running this one on my own this week. And I got it. I got it covered, man. Thank y'all for joining us today. Thank you for watching on the Play Callers Sports Talk YouTube channel. If you're watching on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel. If you are watching on the Shady Sports Network YouTube channel and the Shady Sports Network's Twitter channel as well. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification. Whatever channel you're watching, whether it's the Playmakers, Play Callers, or Shady Sports Network. No matter what, y'all support helps all of us out here, what we do here at Monarchs of Wrestling. Thank y'all for tuning in on this night. SummerSlam recap, AEW talk, TNA talk. We got a lot of things coming on today's show. And I got some new things that I want to try out. And we can begin with the first one. Opening bell. What is the opening bell? Well, the opening bell is the main takeaway from the week of wrestling, which I'm going to do right here. Main takeaway, did SummerSlam deliver? That's the question of the evening. Did SummerSlam deliver? I will say this in a quick recap session, but I'll get to the full recap when we get to the WWE block. Night 2 was better than night 1, without a doubt. It only took 10 minutes, by the way. It only took 10 minutes. 10 minutes. It was all it took. 10 minutes for night 2 to be better than night 1. It's all it took. 10 minutes. Okay. Kevin Owens' return was surprising. Randy Orton returning in the fashion that he did was surprising. There's some interesting things that are going on today. Some quick disappointments, so I dive a little bit more. Liv Morgan retaining, trying to figure that whole storyline out. She's supposed to be cursing that and all this other stuff. Hell in a Cell wasn't what it was, and the U.S. title changed hands. Interesting things that happened on there. But overall, it's been an interesting week in the WWE for us. That as I do this real quick. Want to put question of the day up here so that y'all can see in the chat the question of the day. So here it is right here. Did SummerSlam deliver? Give you answers in the chat throughout the entire show. We'll go over them. We'll hit them up. We'll have a conversation about SummerSlam and it's later on in the show, a full one. But for the opening bell, that's where I'm at. We'll dive more into SummerSlam when we hit the WWE portion of the show. But that's the opening bell. Now let's do what we normally do here. NXT TNA talk. I do have NXT TNA talk for you. Beginning with the NXT side. My takeaway from NXT is pretty much the same as last week. The NXT Championship picture is getting more crowded. But dang, why is it getting more crowded? Well, this past Tuesday, man, they kicked off the show and they had Vince Joseph and Booker T do what they normally do, try to introduce, do the welcome in and all that other stuff. And before you know it, Grayson Waller appeared. We haven't seen Grayson Waller from quite some time, and then he is popped up back in NXT. And when he popped back up in NXT, he went on to deliver his version of a pipe bomb. The reason why I call it a version of a pipe bomb because I don't think he told any lies, but he said, I mean, you want to be honest, the women in NXT had been delivering better than the men. Let's just keep it a buck. I mean, that he said 10% of the people in the industry locker right now are ready for the main roster, and all 10% of them are women. I was like, wow. Grayson Waller is snapping. He even took shots at Austin Theory. So Austin Theory is a division, and Grayson Waller is back in NXT. But Grayson Waller, he's back for the NXT Championship. But Grayson Waller, he dropped the pipe bomb, and he made some things happen. But that wasn't the last time we'll see Grayson Waller, because Cruz Montana made his NXT debut after signing the contract. He was going to keep it a bug as he usually do. He's here for one thing on the NXT Championship. And the champ, Tony D'Angelo came out. So I appreciate everything that you say, and everything that you say, I believe it, except for one small thing. That is you having the NXT Championship. And as they was getting ready to go back and forth, Grayson Waller reappeared. And some fisticuffs was thrown, and let's say the debut of Cruz Montero ended with a splendid block to the champ Tony D'Angelo by mistake. He was aiming for Grayson Waller, but he caught Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo was not happy as NXT went off the air, as you would expect. But the main takeaway from NXT, the NXT Championship pitch is getting more crowded by every week. Okay. Couple of matches that I want to give some shine to from NXT. Speaking of the ladies and what Grayson Waller said, interesting thing when Grayson Waller did that promo, the first match on the card for NXT was Lizzie Rain versus Izzy Dane. And that match put display of what Grayson Waller was talking about. Lizzie and Izzy put on a match. It was a great match to watch. They put on a show, and I was sitting here like, and that is why Grayson Waller said what he said. This is why Grayson Waller said what he said. He is telling you that the ladies are better suited for the main roster currently than the men, and he was not lying. That man was not telling no lie whatsoever. That was a great match. Lizzie Rain got the win with the kick to the head. I think Booker T's caught it, cut the mic or something like that. But it was a great match by the two ladies, man. A wonderful match the ladies put on the show. Another match I want to highlight Miles Bourne retaining the North American Championship over Kim Hendricks. Kim Hendricks is going to be in the feud with Mason Rook going forward, because them two were fighting after the match. With Miles Bourne retaining the North American Championship, now him and Travion Heights, they get to go after the Vanity Project, I believe, tomorrow for the NXT Tag Team titles. So Miles Bourne defended his championship last week to get a championship opportunity at the tag titles this week. It's going to be an interesting thing to look at. Good at Grayson Waller, like what Grayson Waller got going on. He was impressive. Lizzie Rain, Izzy Dane, that wasn't a great matchup. And Miles Bourne get himself an opportunity to become double champion after he successfully defended his North American title against Kim Hendricks. That's the NXT side of things. Now we're going to flip over to the TNA side of things. TNA. What we got going on TNA, Playmaker? You normally don't do TNA. You normally don't do AEW, but you're solo, so you got something for both brands. I do. On the TNA side, we are preparing for TNA Lockdown. TNA Lockdown will be August 23rd. That'll be just under 3 weeks, 20 days from now. In Chicago, Illinois, that'll be August 23rd in Chicago, Illinois, TNA Lockdown. That's what's coming up next for TNA for as big events wise. One of the matches that stands out to me thus far, I'm pretty sure we're going to be more than to fill the card out throughout the coming days and weeks leading up to lockdown. Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander for the X Division title in a steel cage match. Earlier in the show, Leon Slater and I can't think of the partner he had. I think Ricky Soso. Yeah, Leon Slater, Ricky Soso, they defeated Cedric Alexander and Eddie Edwards in a tag team match. Afterwards, Leon Slater challenged Cedric Alexander. Cedric accepted it. Now we have a steel cage match set up for TNA Lockdown in Chicago later on this month. Should be interesting to see how them two go at it. They have fun with that one. The Knockouts television tournament continued. Indy Hartwell defeated Thea Haley to advance to the semifinals. Jada Stone defeated Jody Threat in the quarterfinals to advance to the semifinals. So shout out to Indy Hartwell and Jada Stone as they advance to the semifinals of the Knockouts television tournament. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out and become the first television champion in the Knockouts division. And speaking of championships, we have a new championship crown over the week in TNA. Jason Hotch defeated Mustafa Ali to become the new international champion. Tasha Steelz turned on Mustafa Ali. Jason Hotch took advantage of it to get the dub. What a moment for him in his career. And that was a great way to get things going. Some other things also happened. We got the Hardys and the Nimitz. They are beginning a feud, talking about who's the GOAT. The Hardys are the GOAT. Nick Namath feel like he's the GOAT, best wrestler in the world, all that stuff. And that's something be interesting to go down to. Seeing what kind of match they'll get to when we get to Lockdown. The system is still reeling. Order 4 is not reeling now that Mustafa Ali has lost the international championship. But all roads are leading to Chicago for TNA Lockdown. One match confirmed: Cedric Alexander, Leon Slater for the S Division title inside the steel cage. I'm looking forward to see what else TNA has in store as we get closer to Lockdown in Chicago, Illinois. But that is your NXT TNA breakdown for this week. Commercial break here, and then when we come back, we'll get into AEW because the road leads to London and All In.
The Big Ten.
You can say you're not impressed. You can say you're not happy. You can say all these things, but no, whatever the case may be, the Buckeyes are on top of the football world. And it's just where it is.
The SEC.
But I blame one person for this. One person?
What one person are you going to be blaming? Good. I don't give a crap. Big 12.
That team right there that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
The ACC. Quote, feeling the blues in Death Valley, close quote. Duke ends a 45-year drought in Clemson. You are coaching a team, son. Get with the program and worry about your program.
The CLP rankings, do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it.
Bring down the gridiron on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
And welcome back to Monarchs of Wrestling here, ruling the ring with authority here, the Playmaker. Going solo by himself right here. Before we get into AEW, I got a shout out to my sister who's in the chat. What's up, Yolanda? Good to see you, my sister. She answered the question of the day. Yes, SummerSlam did deliver. We'll talk about SummerSlam after our next commercial break. After we talk about AEW, she also says, of course, not everything, but solid SummerSlam. We'll get to that after we get done with our AEW block here. AEW, what AEW has in store as we are all the world to AllIn London. If I remember correctly, it's the 30th, the 30th to 29th or the 30th, 1 to 2 days for AllIn in London. Cool had to take care of some stuff personally, so he hit me up early this morning and said he wasn't gonna make it, so it was that. So that's why Cool's not here and I'm running it solo, but I'll be all right. Our roads to AllIn London begins for AEW. One of the main things that I took away from AEW was that Will Ospreay quit the Death Riders and is fully focused on Kenny Omega and the AEW World Championship. That's how he opened the show. He quit. He ran to Adam Page. Adam Page told him that whatever he needed him, he got it. Will Ospreay told him, I appreciate it, but I got to do this on my own. Which fast forward us to the end of the show when Kenny Omega came out. Ospreay came out. Kenny Omega had some words for Will Ospreay. Slapped him quite several times, by the way, before Ospreay responded with a slap on his own. He felt like he was going to hit him with the hidden blade, and he let him know it's on. So the build for the AEW World Championship between Ospreay and Omega has begun. I'm looking forward to see what kind of story they are going to tell on their way to AllIn for London, which is the hometown, which is going to be in the home. I believe he's from London. I know he's from England. I believe he's from London. So Will Ospreay will have the home field advantage when we get there at the end of the month for AllIn London. But Will Ospreay quitting the Death Riders. Interesting way to go, man. Interesting way to go. Happy that Ospreay said, all right, I'm doing it on my own now. I done it y'all way. I want to do it on my own now. Shout out to Will Ospreay on that one. Speaking of building towards AllIn, the women's championship. Willow Nightingale, the new women's champion, the first woman to have the Grand Slam tag team title, TBS title, and now the world title, all on the women's side. The first Grand Slam winner on the women's side for AEW. Shout out to Willow Nightingale for that. But her opponent, Mercedes Moné. We have seen this feud before. Matter of fact, we've seen this feud before, and it was for the TBS title, ironically. To which, if I remember correctly, Willow Nightingale beat Mercedes Moné to become the TBS champion. If my memory serves me correctly. So, as of right now, Willow Nightingale has the advantage over Mercedes Moné when it comes to one-on-one feuds currently in AEW. Another thing is, during that feud, it was a reminder that when they fought outside of AEW, that's before they got AEW. I think Willow Nightingale injured Mercedes Moné. I could be wrong on that. But there's a history here. But now it's for the biggest prize on the women's division in AEW. But things took a turn when the Divine Dominance showed up to help Mercedes Moné beat down the AEW Women's Champion before Jamie Hayter and her tag team partner, I can't get the name on top of my head right now, come in and even the odds. So I had a feeling at some point all 6 ladies will be intertwined in these feuds, lead it into All In, and we got some heavy hitters here, man. These ladies gonna put on. These 6 ladies gonna put on the show. I have a feeling these 6 ladies gonna put on the show, and I don't think you can. If they don't put on the show, it'll be a massive disappointment. But I think these 6 ladies are going to put on the show to where people will enjoy and understand what they are doing in AEW. Okay. Before I continue on, my sister asked the question. So you think he's going back to the Death Rider since Kenny did that to him? No, I don't think. I think Real Ospreay is trying to. I think Real Ospreay is out to prove something. I think Real Ospreay is out there to prove that he can do this on his own. He can win the AEW title on his own. He doesn't need the Death Riders, or he may not have paid, or even Swerve Strickland at that one point. He wants to go out there and do it on his own. I know Kenny Omega has to lead with the Young Bucks, but I think the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are supposed to be like the good guys here in some form of fashion. So I don't think they'll gain up on Will Ospreay. So at least that Ospreay can do this one-on-one against Kenny Omega to prove that he is who he is. So no, I don't see Will Ospreay going back to the Death Riders. I could be wrong, but for me right now, I don't see it. I don't see signs of that. One match that I want to give credence to, another match I'm going to give a shout out to as well. The match of the night for AEW last week, the international title. Andrade Algado, first defense since winning it at Redemption. He had to defend it against Nick Wayne and Jack Perry. And that was the first match on the card, by the way. And it set the bar for the night. Oh my gosh. These 3 gentlemen put on a hell of a show to kick it off. Everybody got their stuff in. And Andrade Algado, successful first title defense, taking out Nick Wayne and Jack Perry. Another match we're going to highlight from the AEW side is the man captured the trios title. Yes, right, ladies and gentlemen. The man has captured championship gold. They defeat the conglomeration. Thanks to Lethal Twist interfering, taking out the collaboration, leaving Ricochet in there with Orange Cassidy. And Ricochet took advantage of it, pinning Orange Cassidy to become the Trios champion. I wonder if we're going to have some type of multi-team match for the Trios title, or are we going to run it back between the men and the collaboration at All In. But something tells me the Trio Championship is making it to All In. It's just how it's going to make it there. Because this is going to get interesting. You got the Lethal Twist, you got the collaboration, and now you got the new Trios champion of the man. It's going to be interesting what Tony Khan cuts up here in this Trios division and what we're going to do with them Trios titles when it comes to All In. But you have these 3 teams right now that you can use to intertwine in that Trios championship picture. You could add a 4th if you want to, but I see 3 teams right now that are all fighting for that title. It's going to be an interesting road to see what they get to when we get to AllIn London. So those are my takeaways here for the AEW side as we build towards All In London. It's going to be an interesting ride. And AEW, one day I will give AEW, they know how to put on shows when it comes to the wrestling. And I have no doubt All In, which is one of the biggest ones of the year, It's going to be one of those that people are going to be talking about for a while because they put on the AEW know how to put on pay-per-views. They definitely know how to do that. So when you have Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega as your main event, you just salivating at it. You want to see who challenges Andrade Igalo when it comes to All In. He might have another title defense or two down the road before we get All In, but to see how he goes with that title. The trios title is getting interesting with different teams fighting there for it. And of course, Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné renewing their rivalry now for the biggest prize in the company for the women's. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, and also the women's tag team titles. Also, is going to be interesting as well. So AEW, they're on a good trail. They're on a good trail for All In. I want to see them keep it going, keep it rolling, and continue to build a wonderful, masterful card for All In London. Not only give the London crowd what they want, but give your AEW wrestling fans what they want too. So let's go. Nice to see AEW doing things like they are doing it. We're going to take another commercial break here. And when we come back, we're going to get into the question of the day. And for those of you who don't know the question of the day and want to chime in, is right here. Question of the day, what we talk about, what we're going to talk about after the commercial break. Did SummerSlam deliver? Did SummerSlam deliver? And that's what we're talking about when we come after this commercial break.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
All right, welcome back to Monarchs of Wrestling here on this Monday, August 3rd. I'm going solo today. The Playmaker is here. Cool McCain, he's out taking care of some business, so I'm riding solo today. We got through our TNA talk. We got through our NXT talk. We got through our AEW talk. Now, let's get to our WWE block. It's SummerSlam reaction. That's what it was, man. 2-night event up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. As I said earlier today, those of you who didn't cap the opening bell, night 2 was better than night 1 and it only took 10 minutes. But before I get to that part, let's go back to night 1, shall we? And just look at what took place at SummerSlam. Some of my main takeaways from night 1. Brock Lesnar officially passes the torch to Obafemi as Obafemi beat Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. Now, first and foremost, before we get to the touching moment and what Brock Lesnar did after the match. That Hell in a Cell match fell short. They could have did especially, that was the main event of night 1, by the way. Which means you had time to do what you needed to do to make that match feel as it's supposed to should. But you didn't. You fell short of it. You just call it what it is. That Hell in a Cell match fell short. It literally fell short. But we did get the result that we wanted. Obafemi beating Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar passing him the torch. Gave him a hug after the match. Took the mic, said, Brock Lesnar pointed to us saying he was the past. Pointed to over people saying he was the future. Pretty much passing the torch to over Finn. So no doubt, we got the result that we wanted. The match itself was not how we wanted to live up to, especially you want to talk about hell in a cell. Okay, we're just gonna keep it a buck. That wasn't the type of hell in a cell match we was looking forward to. We're not saying they had to go all out and break each other and go through the cage and climb the cage and all that stuff. Y'all could have been a little more monstrous towards each other, though. Let's keep it up. Y'all could have been a little more monstrous towards each other inside Hell in a Cell. That's number one. Number two, takeaway from night one. Randy Orton is back, and he's back for Cody Rhodes. The first surprise return was Randy Orton. Referee gets knocked down. Randy Orton slides into the ring. Referee gets knocked down. CM Punk gets knocked out of the ring. Randy Orton slides into the ring. RKO's Cody Rhodes, gives a wink to the crowd and the camera, slides away. CM Punk gets in, go to sleep to Cody Rhodes. CM Punk retains the Undisputed Championship. But the fact that Randy Orton's back is what people cared about. And another thing, that Cody Rhodes is not fighting for a championship now. And we're going to keep it a buck. People were getting tired of seeing Cody Rhodes in the title picture. They want a break from Cody Rhodes in the title picture. With Randy Orton back, now we have opportunity to move Cody Rhodes away from the title picture and have him and Randy feud like how people have been waiting on them to feud. Now we have a feud now. Okay. So Randy Orton returning, costing Cody Rhodes the Undisputed title. Can't be more happy about that. It's good job. Good work. Good work. And I know one person who's definitely happy. My sister. She said, I said 2 of the 3 people that actually returned. Yes, you did. And she's also glad that Cody Rhodes lost too. Things happen. And we got that one. That's my second takeaway from night one. My third takeaway from night one. Nick Aldis was impressive against Gunther. Of course, we didn't believe that Nick Aldis was going to win the match. Like, that would be killing everything Gunther is trying to do. But hey. But Nick Aldis was impressive. I've never seen Nick Aldis wrestle personally because I never watched him when he was in TNA. I never watched him when he was in NWA. So this was my first time getting to see Nick Aldis in the ring, taking off the suit, not be a GM and be a competitor. I was impressed, man. I was impressed with Nick Aldis. That was a good fight with Gunther. A very good fight with Gunther. I gotta admit, Nick Aldis, okay, I can see why people talked about. I see why people couldn't wait to see you in a WWE ring. That was impressive. Gunther got the win. I can care less about that. I just wanted to see how Nick Aldis was gonna look in the ring, and he looked good. I enjoyed it. Great physique too. That was a great physique. Yes. So Nick Aldis, great job, man. If you go in the ring again, I would not complain. If you do another match, I would not complain. You was impressive against Gunther. You really was. I enjoy seeing Nick Aldis strapping up the boots and throwing hands. That was good to see. So I'm gonna rock with that one. That's my takeaway number 3. Number 4 from night one. Solo Sikoa was the X factor of the entire night. Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Orski's got the win over the Bloodline. This win is going to push LA Knight as it should, because LA Knight's the one they're trying to position towards Roman Reigns. But it's Solo Sikoa who is the star of that one. It is Solo. Y'all cannot convince me otherwise that anybody else was more of an impact person of night one than Solo. Solo is on. To see him run it back on Jey Uso was hilarious. That was funny. That was funny. Solo is coming to his own as a babyface, man. This is great to see. But Solo, he is the guy from night one. If y'all want to give a star power or MVP or whatnot to somebody from night one, it is Solo Sikoa. And I don't think it's nobody else as close. Yeah, I get that real in return and cost him title. Yes, over Femi won and got the victory over Brock Lesnar. But we're really going to be 100% accurate and going to keep it a buck. Solo Sikoa was the man on night one. Solo Sikoa was the man. I love what he did, what he brought into that match. I just loved it. All right. My sister says, yeah, RKO his title. After he gets done with Cody Rhodes, then we can talk about that. She agrees with me that she never seen Nick Aldis wrestle either, but he did great. And yes, Solo, man. Solo is definitely one. I can't even lie. Solo is that guy. He is. Man, Solo's that good. I'm enjoying that one. But that was night one. Other results on night one, Liv Morgan retained her title against Io Sky. That was disappointing, but I figured as much when Raquel won the IC title from Sol Ruken. I kind of figured they was going to find a way to make sure that Liv Morgan kept that title, especially when they come out and ESPN did what they did, saying that Liv Morgan hasn't defended her title in 100 days of her reign. And then, yeah. Thank y'all did Io Sky a service, by the way, because I told y'all what was going to happen. Io Sky going to win Queen of the Ring. She was going to pick Liv Morgan again, and it wasn't going to happen. Even though I did pick Io Sky because I thought she was cursed. That curse was lifted once Raquel. The curse was lifted once Raquel won that darn title. Once Raquel won the title, I knew it was like, okay, Liv Morgan is no longer cursed. They ain't even going to do that no more. Liv Morgan ain't even cursed no more. She's gonna keep her title. Once Raquel won on Monday night, I already knew that was gonna happen. So yeah, that there was 6 matches on that card. I'm getting a match. I'm probably getting a match because I didn't care about it that much, but that was night one. Let's go to night two. My ticket was from night 2 of SummerSlam. Number 1 and the most obvious one, Roman Reigns slayed his final demon in Seth Rollins. And he did it cleanly. I'm going to say that again. Roman Reigns slayed his final demon, and he did it cleanly. No shenanigans. No controversy. No underhand tactics. No interference. Roman Reigns beat Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring as clean as you can do it. So what are we going to do now? What are we going to say about the tribal chief now? What are we going to say about tribal chief now? He beat the one person who had his number, and he didn't have no help to do it. By the way, great, wonderful match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. That match was crazy. That match was so crazy to the point where you believed somebody was coming to interfere in this match. That's how crazy that match was. Nobody never came. Nobody ever came. The 20 point of that match, Roman Reigns grabbed that chair that Seth Rollins introduced, and he had the shot to repay Seth Rollins for that chair shot. He didn't do it. He threw the chair down and said, no, I'm going to end this the correct way, in which he did. So the tribal chief is still the tribal chief and the World Heavyweight Champion. And the World Heavyweight Champion. Love that. Sister says when he did the gunshot on SmackDown was too funny. I watched that like 4 times. Solo's interesting. Solo is very interesting. Shout out to Kevin. What's going on, Kevin? Kevin says Trick Williams was the last brother holding a title. Everybody else is white or Samoan. Yeah, Baron Corbin is the new United States champion. I can talk about that real quick. It's not part of my takeaways, but we can talk about that real quick. Yeah. I was nervous because I said Trick wins, but I had to rethink about it. I'm like, usually when somebody comes back, they usually win it and they challenge for a title. They usually come back how they do it. But I think me and Cool, we'll be so caught up in Trick wins that we went thinking about the circumstances that it was and all that. But there are people out there, Kevin, despite Trick Williams, but there are people out there that believe that this was a way to get Trick Williams ready for Money in the Bank, to get him to move up to the main event level and see where he's at in the main event spot. I'm kind of iffy on that because LA Knight is also supposed to be a challenger for Roman Reigns. So LA Knight on Raw, Trick Williams on SmackDown. It's going to be interesting to see how Money in the Bank goes. If they was to go ahead and just say LA Knight's #1 contender for Roman Reigns, then yeah, Trick Williams most likely can win Money in the Bank. And that'll be interesting to see. But if they do not make LA Knight the #1 contender or the next opponent for Roman Reigns, then it gets a little interesting. And now remember, Money in the Bank is in October, not September. Your next special event for WWE comes in September 6th. My sister write that down. That is on a Sunday, and that's when Sunday night main event. It'll be right there where you reside in Atlanta, Georgia. For once, they are doing a main event to where it's not close to a PLE. So hopefully, and this is a hopeful sign coming from me, that WWE does something when they go to Atlanta on September 6th for Sunday's night's main event. Hopefully, that'll be the day before Labor Day. For those of you trying to figure it out, the day before Labor Day is Sunday night's main event, and it's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. So hopefully, when they do that, because Money in the Bank is now until October 10th, if I remember correctly. So they have a lead. They have a gap from SummerSlam to Sunday's night main event, and then they have a gap from Sunday night's main event to Money in the Bank. If they don't do nothing, I'm saying this right now. If they don't do nothing with Sunday night's main event when they go to Atlanta, just kill the entire main event thing because it doesn't work. You're only doing four of them a year. It shouldn't be hard to come up with a good, decent show for the main event. Whether if it's Saturday night's main event or Sunday night's main event, it shouldn't be that difficult to come up with a show. You just don't schedule it around the same time. You better have a PLE. So if they don't do nothing in September for this event, let's be done with it completely. All right. Now, that match was long. But man, for that match to be long and that crowd to still be into it, they was doing their job. I give them that. Because that Minnesota crowd was still into it every moment of it. But yes, back to my takeaways. Roman Reigns, say his final demon, still the World Heavyweight Champion. Takeaway number 2, also obvious. Kevin Owens returning. Moment, surprise, pop of the night of all SummerSlam weekend. Kevin Owens returning. Kevin Owens returned. And shout out to Nick Aldis again. He went from a wrestler on Saturday to back being the GM Sunday. And he put Gunther in the match, surprisingly. And it was like, oh, but he didn't say, I didn't say I was just putting one person in there. This is supposed to be a fatal 4-way in my regard. So we need one more participant for this match. Kevin Owens music hit. That stadium lost it. I lost it. Kevin Owens is back from 17 months absent with a serious neck injury that probably should have ended his career, and it didn't. He came back in a fatal 4-way number contendership match. He wins the match. Now he is the #1 contender for the Undisputed Championship, meaning that is him versus CM Punk. That's the matchup. That's going to be an interesting one. Kevin Owens and CM Punk. There was I'm glad you put that in the comment. My sister says I miss Kevin so much I thought he wasn't coming back. It was close to him not coming back. I was listening to him on the post show after night one. It was close to him not coming back. It was literally almost about a month. If I remember, I think he said a month before SummerSlam is when he got cleared, that the doctors finally saw the result they was looking for. That's how close it was for him not coming back at all. He was that close away from being done because his neck was not healing the way that the doctors wanted him to. But like a month before SummerSlam, he got the doctors got the look that they wanted to look at, and it's like, hey, you can go back in wrestling. And here Kevin Owens is. Like, that's how close it was for him not coming back. This literally like the 17th month, the 17th hour, he finally got cleared. So, but shout out to Kevin Owens, man, sticking with it, staying with it, doing what he needed to do to get to where he wanted to get back to wrestling. And you can tell he missed wrestling because he ain't come out and just timid back into it. He came out full guns blazing when he came back. That Kevin Owens like, yeah, I did tell the doctors and my family that I was gonna take it easy, but yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, they gonna get everything that I got to offer in this ring as long as I'm here. I'm like, Kevin Owens ain't playing around. Kevin ain't playing around. So shout out to Kevin. My sister said she watched it too. That was great. Him and Punk up next. I'm looking forward to see how that feud starts Friday night on SmackDown. Knowing how WWE, they might start that tonight. They like doing stuff that don't make sense, but that's gonna be an interesting feud for the Undisputed Championship. That's my second takeaway from night 2. My third takeaway from night 2. My sister says Chelsea Green went off 2 on a post show. That is my third takeaway. Chelsea Green, the interim WWE Women's Champion. The interim Chelsea Green reached the mountaintop. And you know what? I'm not even mad at it. Going back and seeing what Chelsea Green been through in her career. Matter of fact, the fact that she is still wrestling as she had open heart surgery is remarkable. Because having heart surgery, that is a very delicate surgery to have. And to come back from that, just like everyone came back from a neck injury, I can't even be mad. I am Chelsea Green. Hey, we're running with it. You've been through some things, and I'll be honest with you. Chelsea Green has been the one in the women's division who has been willing to do anything and everything WWE asked her to do. She would take the most craziest, ridiculous bumps because they asked her to do it, and she would do it. So I think this one right here is a well-deserved payoff for Chelsea Green because of what she has gone through. Well-deserved. I've not been the biggest fan of Chelsea Green, and is known to people that know me. But in this one, I am not going to take this one from her. She has earned it for everything she's been through. She earned it. Now, how long will she keep? Will she keep it long enough for Rhea Ripley to return to have that match, or will it end up being her just having it for that moment? She loses it to set up a bigger match for Rhea Ripley whenever she returns, because we don't have a timetable for Rhea Ripley return. So that's going to be something to look out for. How long is Rhea Ripley actually going to be out before she returns? That's the question. My sister's happy for Chelsea Green. It's like everybody else. I haven't seen one bad post about Chelsea Green being champion. She's hilarious as well. She can be funny. But shout out to Chelsea Green. You earned it. I can't take that away from you. You earned it. You've been through a lot. You have done a lot. You enjoy it. You reached the mountaintop. Speaking of reaching mountains, it's not the mountaintop, but speaking of reaching mountains, and my final takeaway from night 2. Chad Gable finally did it. Chad Gable finally did it. He captured the elusive singles title where he defeated Penta for the Intercontinental Championship in his hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. You want to talk about journeys? And this is one of his storyline wise. When it came to Chelsea Green, it was both storyline and real life wise. Because I'm not playing. When I found out she had open heart surgery and she came back to work, I was like, yeah, I can't even hate her no more. I really can't. Because that's a scary thing to think about. To have open heart surgery. But Chad Gable, storyline wise, what a turnaround for Chad Gable. This man, Darryl Spire, started with losing opportunities at the Intercontinental Championship. Then it continued when he kept losing to luchadors like Penta, Ray Felix, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, to the point where he became the Grande Americano. Then renamed to the original American Grande Americano because the other Grande Americano took his spot when he was out. So that Maz versus Maz match between the two Grande Americanos, to where he lost and had to be on Maz. And people are still calling this the match of the year to this day right now. And I don't deny it. That was one hell of a match. Oh my God, that was a match. I haven't seen a match better than that yet. So he returning to WWE from being Grande Americano to making amends with the luchadors, to try to make amends with Afro Academy, Otis, Tozawa, and then Maxine Dupree before she ended up joining the Vision and Austin Theory. To Chad Gable to beat Penta in his hometown to win the Intercontinental Championship, a title that started this whole process of Chad Gable. I'm happy for Chad Gable, man. Happy for Chad Gable. When you talk about storylines, that when you see a story of a wrestler and everything he's been through to finally get to where he wanted to get to, you enjoy the ride. Chad Gable went on a ride that people enjoyed. Started off bad, didn't like him. Then he turned it around. Became good at the Lucha Libre way. Been respected for the Lucha Libre, how he represented Lucha Libre in AAA. To coming back, seeing the era of his rise, how he treated people, to now becoming Intercontinental Championship. That's how you tell a story of a wrestler. That's how you do it. WWE did that the correct way. Now people are happy to see Chad Gable have the Intercontinental Championship. What he's going to do with it, that's to be determined now. Because we never seen Chad Gable as a singles champion. So now the unknown is to be revealed now. How would Chad Gable be as a champion going forward? Can he still ride the wave with the crowd behind him when he goes from town to town as Intercontinental Champion? Can he elevate that title to make it mean something? Even though that's a hard task to do because WWE has not been doing a great job of having none of their mid-card titles mean something that includes the United States Championship too. But that's how you tell a story of a wrestler. Spiral out of control, treated people one way, try to mock a certain group. He goes into that territory of that said group, realizes what he's doing, learns the way, makes amends for it, and now he's champion. It's the comeback story that everybody loves. It's the redemption story everybody loves. One thing about American people, they love redemption stories, they love comeback stories. They love the turnaround stories when you was one way and you realized the error of your ways you and you corrected it. They love them type of stories, and that's what they did with Chad Gable. That's why it's working now. Can they continue to make it work going forward? We shall see. My sister says she always liked Chelsea Green. I wasn't one of them. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't one of them. I was not one of them. That's all I'm saying. So that is the WWE block for it. We're going to take a quick commercial break here, come back, and we're going to continue our discussion of wrestling before we get out of here to get you ready for the week of wrestling.
Rams fans all around the world,
it's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back.
lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
NFL Underground, if number 99 says I'm coming back for one more year.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Hey, Eagles fan, join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Everything Boston. I love you, you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
And welcome back to Monarchs of Wrestling. Here we have a new segment that I want to debut here. And this segment, it changes every week, but it's under this category because this is going to be one of the last things we're going to leave you with before we get to another new thing we're going to call the final bell. So on this one, welcome to the main event. For the main event, we're going to stick to SummerSlam because we're going to give out our winners, losers, all that good stuff like people like to see. So our main event, staying with SummerSlam, our big winners from the weekend of SummerSlam: Obafemi getting the torch passing him by Brock Lesnar. Chelsea Green becoming the interim WWE Women's Champion. Kevin Owens returning and becoming the number 1 contender to the Undisputed Championship against CM Punk. And Chad Gable reaching the goal he's been trying to reach, becoming the Intercontinental Champion after a long journey that started with him not being able to win that title. Those are the big winners. The big losers of SummerSlam: the Bloodline, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Jacob Fatu. Y'all, you got made fun of by Soulja Cool when he ran it back on Jey Uso. LA Knight, BFT. Now he stays in line against to get on Roman Reigns' nerves. So yes, the Bloodline, y'all failed. Y'all must be in the losing column. There's no other way of putting it. Bloodline, you lost. You didn't do your job. Other big losers: Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. Sami Zayn, who did not have to fight his way to get into that number 1 contenders match because Adam Pearce put him in it. Finn Balor had to fight his way in there because he was in a Fatal 4-Way match with Wars Keys, Damian Priest, and I'm missing somebody. I forgot the other person. I think Carmelo Hayes. It was Carmelo Hayes. No, Trick Williams. Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Wars Keys, and Finn Balor were in a Fatal 4-Way match to be in a singles match at SummerSlam against Sami Zayn for the number 1 contendership for the United States for the Undisputed Championship. And then Nick Aldis came out. He had to go to the match, and obviously he had Kevin Owens to the match, which The biggest losers are Sami Zayn and Finn Balor because they had to deal with two people they was not preparing for, and that actually sucks. It continues the storyline for Sami Zayn that he can continue to lose his mind about what's going on with him. But what does this does with Finn Balor though? How do they use Finn Balor after this? That's the interesting question right there. What are we going to do with Finn Balor after this? Because you had people thinking that you bringing Finn Balor back to the main event status now, where he should be at, and then you did that at SummerSlam, albeit for Kevin Owens returning. A lot of people miss Kevin Owens and whatnot. Feel good story, but what people got to remember, every time there's a feel good story, there's a downside to it too. So Finn Balor had to be a casualty of it. So we now to figure out what we're doing with Finn Balor now. Sami Zayn continue still doing what he's been doing. Well, what we doing with Finn Balor now? What are we doing with Finn Balor? And then my fourth and final big loser of the weekend, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. At one point, Dirty Dom was the biggest heel in the company. It didn't matter what you did. When Dom came out, he was the most hated person in the building, in the city. We went from there. Finn Balor was not Finn Balor. Dirty Dom was an Intercontinental champion. He's still I think he's still a Triple A Mega champion still, if I remember correctly. But he was an Intercontinental champion at the same time. And he's just been on a feud with Danhausen. Don't get me wrong, Danhausen's comedical. He's funny. He's good. People love him. But Dirty Dom, all of a sudden, it's not really relevant at this moment in time. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez is more relevant than Dirty Dom. And Raquel just won the IC title last week. Dirty Dom has become almost irrelevant at this point in time. They can change that because WWE, they like to change stuff like whenever they feel like it. But at this moment in time, Dirty Dom is not a major factor anymore. At one point, he just could have gave him a mic and he was going to get booed. He didn't even have to say a word. He just showed him with a mic and he was getting booed out the building, out the gate. That's how big of a heat he was getting. Now we at a point where we can just laugh now because Dirty Dom keep feuding with Danhausen and it doesn't go his way and JD's way. And here we are. Match of the night. Quite obvious what the match of the night is. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. What a way to end SummerSlam. A feud that ended in clean fashion. A feud that took everybody through a roller coaster ride. A feud that also paid homage to Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. John Moxley as well. Seth Rollins doing the bounce off the rope clothesline. Roman Reigns doing the dirty deeds, or we call it paradigm shift if you talking about for my AEW fans. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, match of the night, match of the weekend, match of SummerSlam. I don't know if you can argue that. Your MVPs for SummerSlam on the men's side, I give it to Solo Sikoa. And on the women's side, Chelsea Green. That Chelsea Green is getting the MVP on the women's side. It doesn't matter how you feel about a person when it comes to giving rewards or giving respect where respect is due. That's what you do. Chelsea Green has earned MVP on the women's side for SummerSlam. Solo for me, because Solo is the reason why the feud with the Bloodline and LA Knight getting the Roman Reigns is still continue because of Solo. And Solo is quickly moving up the ranks in WWE as a babyface. Yeah, I might not be paying attention, but Solo is moving up there. We could say over Finn because he finally defeated Brock Lesnar in Hell in a Cell. But if you're going to keep it a buck, man, Solo is the guy on the men's side. I could have said Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. He is what he is. There's nowhere around it. So those are my final takeaways from that. That was the main event of the evening. And now before we got here, the final bell. Tonight, we got Monday Night Raw, the fallout for SummerSlam. And those of you who want to know, the final bell is where we look forward to the week ahead. We stop looking for the week past, we look forward to the week ahead. So, looking forward to hearing from Roman Reigns tonight as he moves on from this chapter with Seth Rollins. Looking forward to hearing from LA Knight. There'll be a bloodline sighting. Let's see how this goes after their loss at SummerSlam. Will the Tribal Chief address the bloodline after their loss at SummerSlam and his win at SummerSlam? That's interesting. What's going to happen with the Judgment Day? Raquel and Liv Morgan are still our champions. Dirty Diamond and JD Madonna still haven't won their money from Denhausen. Will they still chase after Denhausen, or will they be done with Denhausen? As Raquel and Liv Morgan are champions. Trying to see if there's anything else on Raw I'm looking forward to. For NXT wise, I'm looking forward to the next installment in this championship picture with Tony D'Angelo, Cruz Montana, and now the return of Grayson Waller. Oh, by the way, tonight is the night Big Cass returns to WWE. Will they still call him Big Cass? That would be main to be seen. But Big Cass returns to WWE tonight on Monday Night Raw as well. I forgot to mention that part. As far as NXT, I want to see this title picture with the NXT. Like I said earlier, Tony D'Angelo, Cruz Montana, and now Grayson Waller. With that, we have the Underground tomorrow in NXT. Lola Vice challenging Kendall Gray in the Underground. This is where I believe, from what most people are predicting, Kendall Gray puts the end to Lola Vice. That way, Lola Vice can be called up to the main roster. Kind of sucks that it has to be in a match where Lola Vice is pretty much dominated in, but sometimes it happens. Will we hear Kalani Jordan continue her campaign of complaining about not being able to get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship? Miles Bourne, Travion Heights will be challenging Vanity Project for the tag team titles on Tuesday. That's that. For TNA, we continue to build towards TNA Lockdown for August 23rd in Chicago. Right know we got Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander in the steel cage match for the S Division title. What will happen with the Hardys and the Nemeth? Who will be the challenger for Ryan for Nick Nemeth? Not Ryan, but Nick Nemeth TNA World title for Lockdown, because you have to know he's going to defend that Lockdown. So who will be the challenger? Could it be Jeff Hardy? Could it be Matt Hardy? Could they swerve and go a different route? Will the Nemeth challenge the Hardys for the tag team titles? That's another option as well that could be happening this week or sometime on a World 2 Lockdown. The Knockouts Television Championship Tournament continues. We already know that Indy Hartwell and Jay Stone have advanced to the semifinals. Who will join them in the semifinals of that tournament? And then that leaves me with AEW. Will it be the next installment for Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay? Willa Nightingale and Mercedes Moné? What is the climate like for the trios title now that the Demand has the titles and then Conglomeration lost them, albeit with interference from Lethal Twist? What the women's tag team titles would be on the line with Defying Dominion when they be who will they be their next challenges for those titles? Andrade Igalo had a successful title defense last week. What's next for him this week and weeks coming forward as we continue to build for AllIn London? And then WWE SmackDown on Friday. Nick Aldis is back in charge. What is his steps going forward? How does Gunther feel about what happened at SummerSlam? He's happy with what happened with night 1, but how does he feel what happened with night 2 with Kevin Owens? Was also a surprise entrance to that match and winning. How does CM Punk feel about Kevin Owens now? He knows his next challenger after SummerSlam. Will we hear from Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes after what took place at SummerSlam? And Chelsea Green. What would the party be like for Chelsea Green as the interim WWE Women's Champion? That right there is the final bell, ladies and gentlemen. I thank y'all for tuning in on tonight as we a little less than 15 minutes away from Monday Night Raw kicking off, the kickoff, the fallout from SummerSlam. So go ahead and make your dinner, get yourself cozy, watch some Raw, watch some action. Also, if you have people out there you haven't talked to in a minute, check on them. Make sure they're good. Make sure they're doing great. Make sure they are in a good mindset, in a good spirit. You never know what they might be going through personally, and they just don't talk it out like that. And remember, here at Monarchs of Wrestling, we are ruling the ring with authority. This is the Playmaker signing off. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all next week, hopefully with my co-host back for more wrestling talk right here on Monarchs of Wrestling.